Hi, GLM. Welcome to the Heart of GLM podcast. I'm here with Shelley Goodman, our Vice President of Central Region, and today we're just going to spend time with Shelley and getting to know her on a more personal level. Our first series is based on women empowerment, and of course, we wanted to start off with you. Please tell me a little bit about you. How did you get to your position now?
All right, so I started my career with AT&T right out of college.
Okay.
And it's my first and only job I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
I did. I started in a leadership development program with AT&T.
Okay. And
I've had 18 different jobs in the last 29 years.
Okay, right after
Don't
college.
do the math. It's funny because my kids will make fun of me all the time because it's so unusual, I think, in today's world for people to stay at just one place.
So what would you say inspires you to come to work every day?
That's an easy one. So for me, it's all about the people. Cool thing now is that at this part of my career, I get to pay it forward, and I spend a lot of time giving people that advice and that mentorship that I got when I was here early on. And I think the other piece is you really just want to see, when you love your team and you love the people you work with, it's a lot of fun to see that group and that team succeed.
And that was going to be my next question. So what does mentorship look like for you? There's a lot of, like you say, millennials. We have a different mindset now moving forward. So mentorship is extremely important.
I think what I would say, though, is that mentorship can be, just small interactions that you have with different leaders and different people or different projects that you get to be a part of, or even from your boss.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be formal.
Okay.
And I think I would just encourage people, just learn from everything you do, observe from everything you do. Some of the things that I've picked up through my time here didn't really come necessarily through just formal, mentoring or formal one-on-one sessions with people, but it came from watching other leaders that I really admire and learning from just the way they treat people, the way that they carry themselves, how they operate with integrity. I mean, those are all things that you can learn, whether you're being mentored or not, right?
And what advice do you have for other women trying to come to the same level and continue to work their way up?
Sure. It's funny to me because I know those numbers might have been a little bit smaller even when I started, and it's so much fun to watch and see, women take on more leadership opportunities, leadership positions. And I think sometimes, sometimes I feel like women in particular just don't underestimate what their potential is or what they're capable of doing. And the biggest thing that I would say, and I think one of the reasons why I have had more opportunities is because you have to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to kind of challenge yourself, and you have to put yourself out there sometimes. And those are not always traits that especially females have. I think you've heard sometimes we've talked about the fact that women tend to sit back and want to be asked to come and participate, or are looking for someone to reach out and say, I think this is a great next step. And those things will happen sometimes, but I think just would encourage all of our females that want to grow in this company to just have confidence and even when you're feeling a little uncomfortable, kind of push yourself to that next level. If you remember, Ralph de la Vega used to say you want to make sure that you're removing the yes buts.
Right.
So, you want to make sure that, if you don't have your degree, get your degree.
Right.
If you're able to be mobile, you make sure people know that you're mobile so that you can go other places. You position yourself, you make sure there's no roadblocks. But then really the biggest thing that you can do to establish yourself or put yourself in a position for another role is just to be really good at what you do. For other women, what I would say is to just not beat yourself up about trying to be everything to everyone. I think the thing that's most challenging to me, and I think this would go for men and fathers out there too, but I think there's something about being a working female in general, especially when you have a family. And I think that sometimes, we have to kind of cut ourselves some slack. It is a little bit harder. It's hard to try to balance and be the best person at work, the best mother, the best wife, best friend, you know, involved in the community. I mean, and like I said, that's in today's world, that is, you know, our fathers, our men, husbands are the same. But I think, to me, the biggest challenge in a long-term career is that you're going to have all these different times in your life where things change and priorities have to change. And I think what I would just say is that just remember that a career, it's not a race, it's a marathon. And so, you know, every different aspect of your life, you know, you can kind of, you know, decide or determine, you know, to what extent you're gonna, you know, you're gonna do certain things, and at different times, different things have to be the priority. But the way I've always looked at my career is I knew from the very beginning that this is where I wanted to spend my whole career, and you're just building on those pieces and building on that brand throughout your career. But it's not a race. I mean, there were times in my career where I was in jobs for 5 or 6 years before I moved, and then sometimes there were jobs that I had where I was in the job for a year and then I got promoted. So it doesn't always move exactly to our schedule.
Right.
But I think that as long as you look at it as this is something I'm going to do long term and I'm here to build a brand, a lifetime brand, then I think that makes it a little bit easier to navigate.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Heart of GLM. So you heard it. Your career is a marathon, never a race. Thank you, Shelley. Next episode, we speak to LaKendra Davis. Stay tuned.
Uplifting,